As the prophet of esports, I rely on trustworthy and meaningful data every day. Data from our research partner YouGov offers the most complete view of esports fans and gamers in the world, providing context to who they are, what they think, the brands they buy, and things they do. YouGov's connected insights and research services inform strategy at every level. If you're a team, a brand, agency, or rights holder, you should be talking with YouGov. Their partners measure and maximize ROI and are telling compelling stories with data. Visit yougov.com/gaming-esports to learn more.
Let's move on to the next one here, guys. We've got a couple more here. Ben, why don't you talk about this slide?
A little bit. So this was someone asked, I think it was Kevin or Tom, maybe, about actually, buying something with cryptocurrencies or using them. This isn't quite that, but similar. So this is ownership of digital assets. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm actually getting ahead of the next one. This is another statement about, being bullish on digital assets, NFTs, blockchain. Similar trend here. The question is being able to own digital assets like NFTs, cryptocurrencies, virtual property, and land in the metaverse is a huge opportunity. So this is just kind of a different statement, similar trend.
This one's telling to me because we've seen a lot of, like, the Ubisoft Quartz announcement was kind of the perfect example where they announced, that they were going to make a bunch of the items in one of the Rainbow Six games available as NFTs, essentially, right? You could buy them and own them as NFTs. And there was this huge backlash from gamers, right? There was a lot of complaints from gamers. This study seems to set, what I conclude from this is that it's kind of more of a vocal minority, especially among the hardcore gamers, right? The backlash is not as widespread as it may seem. It's not like 90% of gamers all think being able to own digital assets is nonsense. And so, I think some of the perception we have is tainted by the fact that some people are just make more noise than others. And it doesn't really pan out in the data here. Jimmy or Lindsay, I don't know if you have any thoughts on this one.
I'm a big fan of NFTs. I got into them because I wanted to learn more, and I felt the best way was to get my hands dirty. And so being able to own these digital assets, to me, it wasn't just, I think, a huge opportunity. It was an educational type of experience because you see a lot going on. You don't want to be late, or there's that element of FOMO. And I think the best way to learn is by doing. So that was kind of how it's applied to me. When you look at these communities and how they agree or not, I think these trends are pretty consistent with some of the other graphs that we looked at with regard to overall crypto spending, as well as with regard to an understanding of the metaverse. And kind of what that shares or says is really just how intertwined all of these concepts in communities and technologies are. And we've been saying it here on the show for a while now, and I love that we have the data to support it. So big shout out to you, Ben, for putting this together, and thank you for YouGov for these tools. But honestly, gaming is the nexus of popular culture. Gaming is the common thread that is launching forth, I think, the future of connectivity and social interaction and what the metaverse will become. So when you see people that are willing to have digital currencies, have digital assets, engage socially online in digital environments, all these trends, I think, are going up. You expect that the hardcore guys and the ones that are spending already a lot of their time there, for it to be more strongly correlated among that demographic. But I think this is another one where I hope Ben would keep this, in your, hey, look at this folder and run this again in a couple of months or every couple of months. And I'm sure
it'll be there ongoing.
Yeah.
Every week. Yeah. Well, I'll be checking in for sure.
And we'll see that up and to the right kind of trend. That's my take.
Guys, I want to get to this last one here because I think it's also interesting, and we'll wrap on this one. Ben, maybe you want to talk about this last one.
Yeah. Well, sorry, if I can say one last thing on the last one, you don't have to go back, but I will just point out the esports fans they were pretty high on feeling that NFTs were a value add. So as esports teams are looking at other ways to monetize, and they're a great outlet to create collectibles and to kind of bolster the value of the collectible with the team's name. So that
Yep.
was just one of the things that stood out. But yeah, go ahead. So this one is ever purchase a digital collectible as an investment or plan to as an investment. So this is now getting real direct to, I think it was Tom's question. So you'll notice first off, the scale of our graphs looks similar, but the numbers are a lot lower, right? So casual gamers, non-gamers, about 4%. Even if you look at total US, 6% have ever purchased any kind of digital collectible. So you got to take that in consideration. This is still a pretty small population, even if they do feel it's going to grow and become more relevant. It's not, it's not 25%, 50% of America, but it is 25% of hardcore gamers. So that really sticks out. This is their passion. They're already putting their money into gaming. It's part of their lifestyle, and this is another way for them to show that off and to just feel good about take pride, I guess, in ownership of their items, their gaming things. And then the plan to purchase statement. This was interesting because here we see a different trend with the hardcore gamers, and I'm not really sure how to explain this one. If it was they've bought and they bought 6 months ago and they're not seeing return, and they're like, you know what, I've been a little bit burned, and I'm gonna cool it for the next little while. I don't know. It could be inflation, and they're thinking over the next year. I don't know. But that really stood out. But then esports fans pops here. And I threw up NBA fans as a comparison here to the esports fans group, just thinking about, traditional sport that kind of has the youngest, median age among traditional sports. And so we see esports fans in the next 12 months, about a fifth plan on buying some kind of digital collectible. And it's similar, not too far off, 15% of NBA fans are interested in the next year as well. So what do you guys think? I some interesting takes.
Yeah. Lindsay, I don't know if you want to start here.
Yeah, I am super intrigued by the hardcore gamer. And I was wondering in the last slide, we know that gamers can be quite a fickle audience. So I wondered if that also had to do with it. There's been just so much negative press between the crypto markets falling and just NFTs in general and bad activations, which is super unfortunate because there's a lot of really great activations out there. Jimmy's earlier point, but I don't think a lot of those get the same news coverage as, hey, look at this cool artist that built a nice community, as the scummy stuff. So that could be a potential reason. What sticks out to me more so is actually the core to mid-core gamer, that slight bump up there from the ever purchase and the plan to purchase, and just those numbers kind of being consistent. One question I do have is, in the plan to purchase, does that include people who also already purchased? Does that make sense?
It can, yeah. They're not exclusive.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I could OR these statements and kind of look at the total slice. Yeah, it's a.
Well, and I thought your insight there was spot on in terms of people that probably had purchased but were cooling down because of a dip in, we notice on Google, right, the search for NFTs over the last few months are also significantly lower. A lot of rugs and communities that were kind of scammy in nature, so maybe people are also pulling back, being a little more tailored with their investments, and a lot of people riding out because obviously the war in Ukraine affecting this as well. So I think there's a lot of factors here, and I thought that when I saw this, I read that same insight that these are probably people that already owned, but maybe we're going to hold for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting takeaway for me is, and obviously because we talked to Steve from Team Liquid today, like if you're an esports team and you're not doing something around digital collectibles, you really are probably missing a really easy monetization opportunity. Because I mean, how well esports fans index against even the hardcore and midcore gamer crowd, and definitely against the general population. I mean, this is extremely telling if you ask me. And these esports teams are always looking for ways to monetize this. Hard to argue with real data here.